top-tier alpha got into a fight with his first love and married me out of spite. We've been married for 3 years, but they never really stopped tangling with each other. He's a powerful, A-list superstar, yet he lowers himself to co-star in cheesy teen dramas just to be near that boy. On set, they hug and kiss. In interviews, they drop flirtatious hints. Everyone online says I'm just a pathetic stand-in. I never get angry. I just smile and help him clear up every scandal. Until later, when I accidentally got pregnant and quietly got rid of it without telling him. Furious and heartbroken, he cornered me, demanding to know why. I traced the line of his brow and answered calmly, because I don't love you. The one I loved was his dead older brother. The whole world knows Sawyer married me just to make Oliver jealous. They had a messy breakup right before the wedding, and Oliver stormed off abroad in a huff. Sawyer didn't chase him. He turned around and married me instead. I walked into a wedding that didn't belong to me and married a man who didn't love me. Everyone said that the moment Oliver came back, Sawyer would kick me to the curb. But by the 3rd year of our marriage, Sawyer seemed to actually start liking me. He'd make me breakfast, coax me out of bed, and kiss me when I acted clinging. In our sweetest moments, we were inseparable. In the dark, he'd whisper seductively, "Babe, give me a child. Someone as good as you." We looked just like a normal, loving couple. Until the day I actually got pregnant. Before I could even tell Sawyer, Oliver came back. And that same day, they got back together. The day Oliver returned to the States, their old high school class held a reunion. Rumor had it his family went bankrupt, and he was desperate for money. When Sawyer led me into the room, we saw a wealthy former classmate forcing drinks on Oliver. He said for every glass Oliver drank, he'd lend him 10 grand. Oliver was choking back tears, forcing a smile as he downed every drop. When he saw Sawyer walk in, he panicked. Probably out of shame, he snapped his head down. Someone jeered, "Jules, if you need cash, just beg our big movie star here. Considering your history, if you roll around in the sheets with him a few times, he won't shortchange you." Sawyer shot them a cold glare and spoke slowly. "Don't make me sick." With a cigarette dangling from his lips, he leaned his head on my shoulder and added, "If anyone upsets my boy, shut up and get the hell out." Everyone laughed, joking about how envious they were that Sawyer spoiled me so much. Nobody knew that if Oliver hadn't suddenly shown up, Sawyer wouldn't have even bothered coming today. Oliver stared at me, biting his lip so hard it turned white, holding back tears. The man who'd been forcing him to drink rubbed Oliver's shoulder. He asked, "What now?" "Looks like the big star doesn't want you anymore. But it's okay. If he doesn't want you, I do. If you strip down and keep me happy in bed, I'll give you some pocket money. How about it?" Sawyer crushed his cigarette. He was clearly agitated, his expression turning icy. He was heartbroken for him. Oliver fought back tears and looked up at Sawyer. He whispered, "I won't. I only love one person in this life. Even if he doesn't want me, I won't let anyone else touch me." Sawyer's grip on my hand tightened so much it hurt. The rich classmate, feeling slighted, laughed and cursed Oliver. "You think you're some kind of saint? Damn it, I'm giving you a chance and you're acting stuck up? I'm definitely sleeping with you tonight." He grabbed Oliver and started dragging him out. Oliver, weak from the alcohol, slumped against him, struggling half-heartedly. Sawyer's eyes were glued to Oliver. I could tell he was ready to kill for him. Just before Oliver was dragged out the door, Sawyer finally snapped. He rushed forward and kicked the man holding Oliver to the ground. He pinned the guy down and started beating him. Eyes red with rage, he snarled, "If you dare touch Oliver again, I'll chop off your filthy hands." The room erupted into chaos. Someone started filming. I quickly grabbed Sawyer's sleeve, trying to stop him. He whipped his head around and asked coldly, "Who are you to tell me what to do?" I froze, then slowly let go. Oliver threw himself into Sawyer's arms, sobbing, "Sawyer, don't fight for me. If you get hurt, I'll die of heartbreak. I was so scared just now. Scared you really didn't want me anymore." Sawyer didn't push him away. He held him tight, protecting him. In front of everyone, he took Oliver and left, abandoning me. Sawyer didn't come home that night. Oliver posted on social media in the early hours of the morning. "You said you'd never hold anyone else's hand." Attached was a photo of interlaced fingers. The hand belonging to the man had a distinct red mole on the back. It was Sawyer. and I was the anyone else whose hand he'd never hold again. 10 minutes later, the post was trending. My haters flooded Oliver's comments. Go for it. You and Sawyer are the perfect match. You have to get back together. Forget morals, I support Sawyer cheating. I just can't stand seeing that manipulative Finn happy. So many people were waiting to see me humiliated. Some left comments for Sawyer. Bro, that's not you, right? I've been a fan for years. I can see how good Finn is to you. You can't do this to him. Sawyer and I were tied to several couple endorsement deals. The penalty fees for breaking the contracts were astronomical. A scandal was the last thing we needed. His agent couldn't reach him and had to call me, begging me to come up with a way to trick the public into thinking Sawyer and I were still together. I scrolled through my camera roll and realized I had pathetically few photos of us. In the few I did have, I was the only one smiling. Finally, I posted an old photo of Sawyer reading under a lamp. The dim light washed over him. He looked exactly like the person in my dreams, the one who always made me cry. As soon as the photo went up, comments poured in. See? Sawyer is at home with his hubby. Anyone who says our boy is cheating, I'll rip their mouth off. Everyone was cursing Oliver for being shameless and chasing clout. Until a few minutes later, when Sawyer retweeted Oliver's post. Under that photo of them holding hands, he wrote, "It's me." He calmly admitted they were together, exposing my clarification as a lie. Once again, for Oliver's sake, he threw me away. Oliver's fans swarmed my page, mocking me. Tried to act cool and got slapped in the face. Feels good to watch. Liar. You deserve it. Finn, Oliver gave you 3 years, and you still couldn't capture Sawyer's heart. Useless. Who said I wanted Sawyer's heart? I deleted every message and photo related to him from my phone. I wanted a divorce. The next morning, the agency called me in to handle the PR crisis. Bad luck. I ran into Oliver as soon as I arrived. Sawyer probably couldn't bear to leave him alone, so he brought him along. The moment he saw me, he apologized. Finn, I'm so sorry about last night. I drank too much and posted nonsense, and Sawyer just played along. I caused you trouble. I already scolded him. He's always so biased toward me, he never thinks about you. He was too harsh. Those people online are so mean, saying you're just my stand-in. It's hilarious. They don't know how much I want to thank you for taking care of Sawyer for me all these years. He smiled sweetly at me. I smiled back. I've been married to Sawyer for 3 years. We're family. We take care of each other. We don't need an outsider's thanks. But you, being called a homewrecker online last night must have been tough. Don't take it to heart. Oliver's expression shifted. He looked me up and down, then suddenly fixated on the ring on my hand. He smiled. Finn, you're wearing my wedding ring. You should give it back. He reached out to grab my hand. I was annoyed and waved my arm, accidentally brushing his face. Suddenly, Oliver swung his bag and smashed it into me. The metal clasp gashed my forehead, drawing blood. He used a lot of force. My ears were ringing. I raised my hand to hit back, but someone grabbed my wrist from behind. Sawyer appeared out of nowhere, warning me coldly, Finn, don't you dare touch him. When I turned around, he saw the blood on my face. He paused, frowned, and looked at Oliver. Did you do that? Oliver shook his head, eyes brimming with tears. Sawyer, he called me a homewrecker and tried to hit me. I was dodging him, and my bag accidentally hit him. I didn't mean to. I'll apologize. The moment he cried, Sawyer melted. Hearing that, Sawyer rubbed the top of Oliver's head, praising him. If anyone hits you, hit them back. I'm here. You don't need to apologize to anyone. I suddenly envied Oliver. Actually, I used to be a crybaby too. But the person who used to hurt for me is gone. Our agent, Benny, couldn't take it anymore. He pointed at me and shouted at Sawyer. This is your husband. Sawyer, are you blind? You're holding onto a manipulative snake and letting go of gold. In what world is Finn not better than Oliver? Did you forget you said you wanted a child with Finn? Did you forget saying that only with Finn did you feel like you had a home? You're hurting him like this now, are you sure you won't regret it? I subconsciously touched my stomach. Inside my body, a tiny life was just starting to grow. Sawyer chuckled, glancing at me lightly, without a trace of emotion. Maybe I liked Finn for a bit, but Oliver is back. Finn, Quinn, Lynn, whoever, they all have to step aside. In the past, Sawyer probably just liked me briefly, shallowly. Now that Oliver was back, he was gonna love him. I took off the ring on my ring finger, the one that didn't belong to me, and handed it to Sawyer. Sawyer's smile slowly faded. After a moment of silence, he reached out to take it. Then he grabbed me, looked at my stomach, and signaled me with his eyes. Finn, don't be stupid. You're already... Oliver interrupted him, snatching the ring. He shoved it onto his own finger, realizing the band was a bit too small. His smile froze slightly, and he tossed the ring into the trash can. He hugged Sawyer's arm and whined, "Forget it. Don't be mad for me. I think a ring worn by someone else is dirty. I don't want it." Sawyer ignored him. He just stared at me, asking in a low voice, "You're already what?" I gave him a flat look, turned around, and walked away. Sawyer,
I'm pregnant.
but you don't need to know. Sawyer is an extremely sharp person. Benny's hint was obvious. I think he probably guessed most of it. I take medication for chronic health issues, which affects fetal development. This pregnancy was an accident, and the doctor recommended terminating it. I also didn't want to stay entangled with Sawyer because of a child. Before the surgery, I moved out of the house to avoid seeing him and to stop him from causing me trouble. Though Sawyer probably doesn't care at all. He didn't look for me. He just continued living his life. Benny sent me a video. It was at an auction. Sawyer gave Oliver a magnificent diamond ring, and Oliver threw himself into his arms, beaming. They were a perfect match, made for each other, right? How could I forget? Sawyer said it himself. Oliver is back. Whether it's Finn or Finn's child, we all have to step aside. That's fine. The day before the surgery, I suddenly felt a wave of panic. I remembered the jade Buddha pendant my mother prayed for before she passed away was still in the safe at home. I planned to go back and get it. When I got there, I found the door code had been changed. Standing outside my own home, unable to get in, I felt pathetic. Stifling my anger, I called Sawyer. The person who answered was Oliver. He started with a gloating laugh. "Finn, today is my birthday. Sawyer insists on taking me to watch the meteor shower, so we won't be back tonight. I told him once that lovers who make a wish on a meteor will stay together forever. I didn't think he'd remember. I'm so happy, but I can't give you the code. After all, we aren't home, and it's not appropriate for an outsider like you to go inside." I hung up, went to the keypad, and entered today's date. The door opened. The password was Oliver's birthday. Inside, every trace of my life had been erased. The wedding photo of me and Sawyer on the TV stand had been replaced by a photo of him and Oliver. They looked so young in it. Sawyer was holding Oliver, smiling happily. My potted succulents had been thrown out, pots and all. My study had been turned into Oliver's piano room. I froze, then ran to the bedroom and opened the closet. It was filled with a row of sexy lace sleepwear that wasn't mine. The safe was at the bottom. I pressed my thumb to the scanner, hands shaking, and pulled out all the jewelry, cash, and documents. But I couldn't find the jade pendant my mom left me. That was the only thing she left me. Oliver knew that, so he threw it away. Oliver always hated me and my mom. Back in high school, my mom was a housekeeper for Sawyer's family. Oliver would come over with his parents to visit. The first time we met, the older generation introduced me. They said I was obedient, sensible, hardworking, and smart. Oliver pretended to be friendly, saying he wanted to be friends. Behind my back, he said, "So what if he studies hard? Even if he gets into a good college, he'll just end up working for us." His mom is annoying too, always smiling. What does a maid have to be happy about? An old pauper giving birth to a little pauper. Disgusting. When my mom picked me up from school, we ran into Oliver. He would smile and call my mom a bitch in English. My mom didn't understand. She'd tell me how handsome and cute he was, and try to give him dried sweet potatoes she'd made herself. Oliver would turn around and throw them in the trash, mocking her. "Smells like garbage. Even a dog wouldn't eat this." My mom didn't know what to do, blushing in shame while everyone around us laughed. I dropped my backpack and tackled Oliver. My mom saw me getting beaten and threw herself over me to shield me. One of Oliver's friends kicked her over, and suddenly, there was blood everywhere beneath her. That day, my mom was diagnosed with uterine cancer. Those terrible cancer cells appeared secretly, then quietly stole my mother's life. That jade pendant. Before she died, She kept it a secret from me. She kowtowed every step of the way up Mount Grace to pray for it. She said the Buddha at Mount Grace was the most powerful. Fighting back tears, I asked her why. She smiled and said it was a secret. Actually, I knew. When I was little, I was seriously ill. My mom went up the mountain to pray. She made a vow to trade half her lifespan for my health and safety. Later, I got better, and the powerful Buddha took my mother away. When Oliver found out, he laughed at her. Poor people are so superstitious. What's the use of leaving? Some piece of junk? She should have sold a kidney or a liver to leave her son some money. At 2 a.m., Sawyer brought Oliver back. As they walked in, Oliver wrapped his arms around Sawyer's neck, whining and begging Sawyer, "Sleep with me tonight, okay? I want to give myself to you." He tried to press his lips against Sawyer's, but Sawyer dodged. I sat on the sofa watching Oliver act cheap. Sawyer's gaze landed on me. Oliver froze, looked back, and smiled provocatively when he saw me.
Finn.
If I'd known you were home, I would have told Sawyer to come back earlier. We didn't see any meteors tonight. He was afraid I'd be disappointed, so he insisted on taking me to set off fireworks.
Finn, I'm sorry.
If you want to blame someone, blame me. Don't be mad at Sawyer. I'd had a bit to drink. Dizzy, I stood up and walked toward him. I asked bluntly, "Where is my jade pendant?" Oliver blinked, guilty but still smiling. "You mean that piece of jade in the safe? I accidentally broke it when I was cleaning up. It didn't look like it was worth anything, so I threw it out." My tears fell instantly. In a split second, my hands and feet went cold, and my lips trembled uncontrollably. My mind was filled with that afternoon my mom died. She held me tight, wiping away my tears over and over. She told me not to be afraid. She said she wasn't leaving. She said she'd made a deal with the Buddha. As long as the jade is here, Mom is here. I swung my hand and smashed my wine glass at Oliver. It shattered on the marble floor, and a shard sliced his leg. He got scared, stumbled back 2 steps, and hid behind Sawyer. He cried out pitifully, "It hurts." I grabbed his collar, screaming hysterically, "Where did you throw it? Where did you throw it?" Sawyer came up to stop me. I punched him and screamed, "We aren't divorced yet. What gives you the right to bring him here? What gives you the right to let him touch my things? Who do you think you are? You're just that impatient to sleep with him? Sawyer, you make me sick." He grabbed me roughly, stroking my hair, his deep voice overpowering mine. "Finn, calm down. I'll take you to find your jade. Okay? Stop crying. I'm begging you, stop crying. It hurts to watch." Oliver had thrown my pendant away that morning, so it likely hadn't been hauled off yet. Sawyer drove me to the garbage station, speeding the whole way. He helped me dig through the trash. A man with germophobia, ignoring the filth and the stench, his hands covered in sludge. We searched from dark until the sky began to turn gray. I found nothing. When the sun rose, I suddenly felt completely helpless. The golden light on the horizon stung my eyes. I bit my lip to hold back the tears, holding my breath, daring not to let myself cry out. An old couple who worked at the station took pity on me and helped us look. Finally, just as I was about to despair, the grandma called out, "Son, come look. Is this it?" I shot up. The world spun for a second, but I didn't care. I dragged my feet out of the trash pile and ran to her. She was holding a sandalwood box. Inside lay the shattered pieces of jade. It was my pendant, but it was truly broken. Actually, I should have been happy. At least I found it. At least I found it. I tried to smile, but the moment the corners of my mouth moved, huge tears rolled down my face. "Mom, you said if the jade is here, you're here, right? But the jade is broken. Are you still here? Can you please not go? Don't leave me behind." Sawyer reached out and pulled me into his arms, comforting me. "Don't be sad. I'll find someone to fix it." I pushed him away, shaking my head. "It's fine. No need." A moment later, Sawyer's voice turned cold. He practically gritted his teeth. "Finn, every time you tell me you're fine, I want to strangle you. Would it kill you to rely on me just once?" I looked at him silently. Sawyer's phone suddenly rang. It was Oliver. He hesitated for 2 seconds, then answered. Oliver was crying on the other end. "Sawyer, I was going to go find you guys and apologize properly to Finn. But I got lost. and there's a strange man following me. I'm so scared. Sawyer didn't care about me anymore. He turned and left immediately. Just then, the hospital sent me a text. Today was my appointment for the abortion. On Oliver's birthday, I lost my mother, and a child I would never meet. Before entering the operating room, the anesthesia began to kick in. I fell into a dream of memories. I was 16. Through my own hard work, I tested into the top high school in the country. I entered the same school as Oliver, Sawyer, and the boy I loved. From then on, my nightmare began. I didn't understand why Oliver liked bullying me so much. He and his friends would stick chewed gum in my hair and throw used tissues into my backpack. They'd trip me when I walked by. They'd dump dirty water over the stall when I was in the bathroom. It wasn't that I didn't fight back, and the teachers knew, but they did nothing. Later, I presented as an Omega. My first heat hit, and just as I took out my suppressants, Oliver snatched them away. He smiled, demanding I kneel and beg him. I gritted my teeth and endured it, but waves of agony tortured me. I was terrified I wouldn't last, that I'd give in to Oliver. The students around us were placing bets on how many minutes I could hold out. I looked at the red $100 bills on the table and cried out in shame. Suddenly, someone leaned against my desk, casting a shadow over me. He picked up the money, counted it, and smiled a roguish smile. Not bad. Quite a bit. I'll take this as a tribute to your grandpa here. Watching him shove the money into his pocket, none of them dared to make a sound. He crooked his finger at Oliver. He was still smiling, but the smile was cold. The pills. Give them here. I'm adopting this little sick duck. From now on, he belongs to me. Anyone who touches him deals with me. Got it? He was Sawyer's bastard brother, always causing trouble, never studying. Originally, I didn't like him much, but that day he saved me. I guess it was because he often came home covered in bruises from fights. The elders in the family never asked why. They only punished and insulted him. Only my mom secretly cared, applying medicine to his wounds. He seemed to be repaying the favor. From that day on, this little sick duck had his own loyal keeper. When I woke up from the anesthesia, Benny was holding my hand. He was crying a lot. I asked him why. He said I'd been talking in my sleep for a long time. He asked, that boy you loved, where did he go? I looked at the high ceiling and closed my eyes. I whispered him. He flew away with the wind. I turned off my phone and vanished for half a month. Benny told me Sawyer went crazy looking for me. The first thing I did after leaving the hospital was take the divorce papers to see him. Sawyer was silent for a moment, then let out a cold laugh. He glanced roughly at the agreement, tossed it onto the coffee table, stared at my stomach, and spoke slowly. Before we divorce, isn't there something else we need to discuss? I smiled calmly and answered, there was before, but now there isn't. I got rid of the baby. Don't worry, you have no loose ends. Sawyer's pupils trembled. He froze for 2 seconds. He lowered his head and suddenly laughed. Finn, you disappeared for 2 weeks just to do that? Huh? I was afraid you'd be upset. So I ran all over the country looking for jade restoration experts. And this is how. You repay me? He reached out, dragged me onto the sofa, and pinned me under him, asking fiercely, why would you do this to me? How dare you? How could you? Probably because I used to be too obedient. Everyone thought I was madly in love with Sawyer, including him. I looked up at his face, gently tracing his brows. I told him calmly, Sawyer, the person I loved was never you. You look really ugly when you lose your temper. You look less and less like him. Using him as a substitute gave me some comfort in the beginning. But after a while you realize, when he smiles, it's not him. When he doesn't smile, it's not him. Even his hugs aren't as warm as his. I was bored of it. Sawyer knew who I was talking about. Tears suddenly fell from his eyes, landing on my cheek. Live long enough and you'll see everything. The high and mighty Sawyer didn't even cry the day Oliver left. Today he was crying for me. Funny. And disgusting. I told him, don't feel wronged. Our relationship started as a transaction. Didn't it? You used me to make someone jealous. I used you as a stand-in for entertainment. We're even. Before I could finish, Sawyer interrupted me. His eyes were red. In that moment, he looked like a lost puppy. He said, Finn, you don't get to say we're even. Did you know? When I gave Oliver that ring, I wasn't happy at all. I tried to love him like I used to, but my head was full of you. When you disappeared, I'd wake up in the middle of the night in a panic. Finn, you made me fall in love with you, and now you say we're even? Screw being even. He pinched my face, gritting his teeth like a vicious wolf threatening me. Want a divorce? Keep dreaming. Oliver, who had been hiding in the room eavesdropping, pushed the door open. He walked out looking soulless, standing pathetically in the middle of the living room. Choking back sobs, he whispered, "Sawyer, what are you talking about?" As Sawyer prepared to get up, I grabbed his tie and pulled him close. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Oliver clench his fists. I smiled. I asked Sawyer, back in school, even though we weren't in the same class, you knew, right? You knew how Oliver bullied me. We don't have to divorce, but I want you to get back every cent you lent him for his debts. And right now, make him get the hell out of here. Oliver panicked, crying as he spoke. Sawyer, everyone does stupid things when they're young, right? Besides, you know I was just joking with Finn back then. If he's angry, I'll apologize. Okay? He fell to his knees, begging. Finn, I only have Sawyer left. Please don't take him away. Okay? Sawyer, you've seen how scary those debt collectors are. If you really don't want me, if you ask for that money back, I might be. Sawyer frowned. He stared into my eyes, hesitating for a long time, before finally saying one word. Sorry. He was always like this, saying he loved me, but whenever he had to choose, he always leaned toward Oliver. I laughed and cursed him. Then what was with that deep, emotional act just now? You don't need to apologize. I was just toying with you anyway. Sawyer, who you love is none of my damn business. Sawyer's eyes flashed with pain, then gradually turned cold. He pushed me away. He walked over to Oliver, slowly pulled him into his arms, and whispered comfortingly, "Be good. Don't be scared. It's my fault. I shouldn't have said those things. I'm not abandoning anyone. I won't abandon you. Promise." Oliver pounded on his shoulder, crying aggrievedly, but he hugged Sawyer's neck tight, daring not to let go. Seeing how terrified he was made me feel fantastic. The day Sawyer and I got divorced, Oliver tagged along. He held Sawyer's hand tight, terrified I'd feed Sawyer some love potion and lure him away. When the divorce certificate was in hand, he visibly relaxed. While Sawyer went to get the car, Oliver came over to provoke me again. You got to be Mrs. Song for 3 years while we were fighting. Consider it charity. Finn, remember this. You'll always be a little pauper born to an old pauper. Watch your back from now on. I'm going to ruin you. I reached out and grabbed his hair. He screamed in pain. I smiled and whispered a secret to him. Oliver, I have proof you killed someone. His face instantly turned panic-stricken. I stared at him with satisfaction and continued, but don't worry. I'm not as vicious as you. I don't want you dead. I just want you to wish you were. After we announced the divorce, Sawyer couldn't shake the label of being a cheater. He didn't care. He was a male superstar and A-lister. This kind of scandal wouldn't ruin him. There would always be people who forgave him. He started taking Oliver to various public events, putting out press releases to whitewash his image, and paving the way for his acting career. Sawyer had money and power. It was easy to fix. When we met again, Oliver had already finished filming a big-budget movie and made a high-profile comeback. It was a veteran actor's birthday party tonight. Couldn't not go. As soon as I arrived at the banquet hall, I saw Oliver holding onto Sawyer's arm, waving at me.
Finn.
Long time no see. I heard you filmed a niche indie movie recently. Are you having trouble? Why has the quality of your resources dropped so much? In front of Sawyer, Oliver always pretended to be sweet. He seemed to have forgotten my threat about making him wish he were dead. Maybe because nothing happened for so long, he thought I was just bluffing. Then he rolled his eyes and snapped back. Little Mr. Tang, don't talk if you don't know what you're saying. Niche doesn't mean low quality. That director has won international awards. You're offending people talking like that. Oliver's expression flickered. Then he smiled again. He leaned gently on Sawyer's arm and whined. It doesn't matter if I offend people. I have my hubby anyway. We've always been like this. I make trouble, he cleans it up. As long as he's here, I'm not afraid of anything. Couldn't be bothered with him. I handed over my gift money, signed the guest book, and turned to leave. Oliver suddenly called out to me, pulling an invitation from his bag. Finn, I forgot to tell you. Sawyer and I are getting married in October. I hope you can come. Sawyer frowned slightly, glancing at him. No one expected me to stop, look at that pink invitation, and accept it with a smile. I chatted with Oliver for a moment. You guys kept this quiet. I hadn't heard a thing. Unlike back then with me, your hubby insisted on live streaming the whole thing. He wanted the whole world to know we were married. It looked glamorous, but honestly, it was annoying. Seeing Oliver's expression crack, I turned and walked away, tossing the invitation into the trash can on my way out. Mr. Sawyer. Little Oliver. I hope you have a wedding you'll never forget. I heard Oliver fought with Sawyer for a long time about the wedding, finally getting the secret ceremony changed to a full live stream. He really is stupid. What's so good about a public show of a wedding? Sawyer wanted to protect him, but unfortunately, he didn't understand. I counted down the days waiting for their wedding. After that class reunion, I received an anonymous video. I don't know which old classmate sent it, but they told me Spencer's death wasn't a suicide. I'm sorry I didn't tell you before. I was afraid of Oliver's revenge. Spencer. I hadn't heard anyone say his name in so long. That night, I watched the video over and over. Finally, I knew why he died on the day he fell from the roof, the day I planned to confess to him. Turned out, it was because of me. On the day of Sawyer and Oliver's wedding, I sat in front of the live stream, terrified I'd miss their happy expressions. Oliver wore a haute couture suit, walking slowly down a customized aisle filled with white roses. Sawyer waited at the end, looking so tender, worthy of the phrase, lovers finally united. Witnessed by the priest, they exchanged vows, swearing eternal loyalty, through sickness and death, never to part. The chaos started right at that moment. A video suddenly flooded the internet. The location was the school rooftop. There were two people in the frame. Oliver's slightly younger face was clearly visible, along with another boy who looked a lot like Sawyer. It was snowing that day. Oliver stood on the edge of the roof, looking precarious. He was crying, asking the boy, "Would you rather watch me die than be with me?" The boy looked impatient. "How many times do I have to say it? I like someone else. Are you deaf?" Oliver didn't believe him and continued his tantrum. "Who is it? Who in this school is better looking than me? Is it that country bumpkin Finn? Why him? I've liked you for 2 years. I like you enough to die for you. Would he do that?" Probably unable to stand hearing the person he liked being insulted, the boy laughed coldly. "Oliver, I know exactly what kind of trash you are. Save your little tricks for Sawyer. You're not qualified to play games with me. I'll say this once. Hand over Finn's photos. If you mess with him again, I'll kill you. Try me." Oliver stared wide-eyed, silent for a long time. After a while, he suddenly laughed and jumped down from the ledge. He shrugged. "You have terrible taste. Really. Do you know how many people like me? You're just the least favored kid in the Song family. What are you being so arrogant for? I'm giving you a chance and you won't take it. You want Finn's nudes, right? Fine. Come get them yourself. If you can't get them, don't blame me if I leak them. Let every man in the world see what kind of goods that bumpkin is." He pulled a memory card from his pocket and held it up high. The moment the boy rushed toward him, Oliver suddenly squatted down. That day, the rooftop was slippery. The wind was strong. A boy turned into a butterfly. After a brief pause, he flew away on the wind. I still remember the sky was dark that day. He'd ruffled my hair and told me to wait for him after school so we could walk home together. I touched the love letter in my desk, blushed, and nodded. Later, he went out and never came back. That love letter is still treasured in my backpack. In the live stream, someone stopped the ceremony, holding a phone up for Sawyer to see. Oliver's face went pale. He grabbed Sawyer's collar, screaming and crying, Don't look, Sawyer. It's not real. I didn't mean to. His fall had nothing to do with me. I didn't think the roof would be that slippery. How was I supposed to know he was so useless he couldn't even stand up? Sawyer shoved him to the ground. Oliver's diamond headpiece fell off. His hair scattered, and his makeup was ruined by tears. He looked so pathetic. It made me feel so good. "Oliver, I said I'd make you wish you were dead. I wasn't just talking." The scandal triggered a massive public outcry. People started popping up online, listing every bad thing Oliver had done from childhood to adulthood. Some true, some false. Netizens started discussing social status, family background, and the impact of environment on a child's character. Someone said that there is a type of child in this world born simply as a bad seed. I couldn't agree more. Oliver had caused a severe negative impact on society. He was taken to court and given a heavy sentence. No one could save him. Sawyer was implicated too. He was blacklisted by the industry and disowned by the Song family. The funniest part was the parents. The ones who hated Spencer the most, who cursed him even after he died. They suddenly appeared on camera, putting on a show, saying what a filial son Spencer was, that although he had a bad temper, his character was upright. Their tears looked real, but they didn't even know what flowers Spencer liked. There were huge piles of chrysanthemums in front of his tombstone. I had to make several trips to throw them all away. He hated chrysanthemums. He was picky. He always said they smelled bad. I cleaned up his little home for him and sat beside him, basking in the sun. I really wanted to talk to him. What should I say? Let me think. I'll tell you something you haven't heard yet. About how much I like you.